talked about when you were in the room.
All right, amen.
Because you can't stand there and talk about the prophetic tradition and you sat in the room and you simply got pimped and played.
Amen. Amen.
I'm talking about the notion of freedom. I'm talking about demanding something and holding out and pushing in people and prodding people and taking this thing to a whole different level. I'm talking about what's happening right now when you got black folks who are acting so damn bougie about Black Lives Matter when these young folks are putting on the line, and then we're saying, well, I don't want to say nothing, but the reality is these young folks are foregoing jobs. They're getting thrown in jail. They're doing the exact same thing that SNCC was doing in the 1960s, and you've seen the last year 40 new laws in 24 states. You've seen a level of police transparency you have never seen in your life. You've seen more cops today who've been prosecuted for killing folk than they've ever been prosecuted before. You see the mayor right now in Chicago catching hell and on the verge of being pushed out because he withheld a tape for a whole year. They settled for $5 million and the family hadn't even filed a lawsuit yet. These folks are pushing because they're saying, no. We don't want a blue ribbon commission. We don't want the same thing. We want freedom. They're not trying to sit here and ask for it. They're demanding it. They're going to the streets about it. And so I'm sitting there going around this country looking at various NAACP chapters going, where are you? These folks are saying, you know what? We're not even waiting on y'all. We're just going to go ahead and do it. So you know what? It's amazing. Here we are, 2015. They ain't talking about Southside NAACP in Chicago. You know what they're saying? Black Youth Project. They're talking about other groups. They're talking about Color of Change. They're talking about the New York Justice League. They're talking about folks who are putting it on the line because these folks are saying we want freedom. We don't want conciliation. We don't want to come up with somehow a plan where let's just all get along. No, they're saying we want it all. They are forcing a level of accountability we have not seen in years. And they're saying you must change your policy. So here we are talking about a young man, Woods, shot and killed by cops. Yet 5 hours ago, LAPD sheriffs shot a black man who was walking away from them in a similar case as the one here. You saw today in San Antonio, they released a guy held his hands up and a cop shot him saying, well, the movement of holding his hands up scared him. You got Miami, same thing happened. You have a culture, a mindset where it is shoot to kill, we'll ask questions later. What we should be demanding, talking about freedom, is saying if you are a cop and you lie on a police report, you automatically lose your job. This is not about getting along and it's all good and trying to tamp things down. No, because what you're saying, because you got to understand historically, police were used to capture fugitive slaves. The history of America is that police forces were always used for different purposes to get black folks. And so when you see in Ferguson, when they're handing out all kind of tickets, and when you got 4 warrants to every household in Ferguson, and the DOJ comes in and says, hold up, something is wrong here, that says they were using police departments as tax collectors or revenue collectors, which also has an impact on income inequality, because if you can't afford to pay the ticket, your fines increase, and then you have now a warrant, and then you get thrown in, and you get the black woman in St. Louis who got arrested, and she had outstanding warrants after somebody hit her car, and then she was in jail for a whole week, and she could not even get out, and she got bounced from one city to the other because she had a warrant in 3 different one of those small towns. What I'm talking about is we got to get in the game. We've got folks right now who are not waiting for permission. They're not waiting around. What they are saying is get out of your suits, get out of your dresses, get out of the ballrooms, get out of our corporate jobs, and somehow begin to say, how are you going to change what's happening on these streets? Because what you have to be asked, I asked you, why are you here? Because do understand, in 30 years when they have another one of these events, somebody gonna say, what were they doing in 2015?
Wow. Yeah. 2016.
And were they change agents, or were they going along to get along? See, you're gonna have to answer that question. See, we can't sit here and talk about Dr. King and Fannie Lou Hamer and talk about all of our civil. It'll be a shame in 30 years if we still talking about folks from 50 years ago. Today is about creating new legacies. Today is about creating a new chapter in history. Today is about us being willing to stand there and dare to question somebody and also be willing to make something happen. So if you've got politicians and if you've got police officers and you've got DAs who are willing to stand up, our job is to support them, but to also say we're going to hold you accountable. Our job is not to send you down there and be able to status quo. And our job is to also be willing to look our own brothers and sisters and say, what are you going to put into this battle? There are some people in this room who can do more and who can contribute more, and what you have been doing is you have been silent. You have been sitting there and saying, you know what, I'm going to let somebody else do something. But then when you see a shooting, you at home and you're mad. And then when you see somebody who's wrongly arrested, then you're mad. Then when you see somebody who is fired and is wrong, and you're mad. But the question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to get in this game? Not just with your checks, but also with your talent, also with your mind. And I ain't talking about just coming to a monthly meeting. I'm talking about saying, how are you being proactive? I ask, why are you here? If your commitment ends with this banquet, then all you've done is come here, enjoy a salad, enjoy some chicken, enjoy some conversation, and you're doing nothing to advance the agenda of black folks in this city. What you must begin to say is, I'm willing to fight, I'm willing to put it on the line, and as my fraternity brother Vernon Woodson Tandy said, we're going to fight till hell freezes over, and then we're going to fight on the ice.
Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Wow. What a powerful message. Please, another round of applause for Mr. TV1, Roland Martin.